What's going on, everybody? It's your boy. It's your boy Garth from the GamerCade. This is actually a really interesting topic. I was actually got inspiration from this topic last night, actually. So I was like, you know what? I was gonna talk about this, but now let me talk about this. By the way, check out the GamerCade podcasts every week. And also check out the PlayStation and Pizza podcast as well. There's also going to be an Xbox podcast as well soon, or it might be going on now, actually. But it's in the works, and that one will be called Dashboard Update, or the name is still in progress, as of I know. But it's not about that. This video is about the today's developers. Okay, I was watching a old video from 2004. This was a developer on Tim Schafer. Yes, Tim Schafer, the great Tim Schafer. Everybody knows who he is if you're into gaming. You all know who Tim Schafer is. He does Psychonauts. He's developer of Grim Fandango. He did the Day of the Tentacle. He did Full Throttle. He did all those adventure point and click type games. Well, it was a very interesting documentary. I used to watch Icons all the time, and I watched this Icons episode when I was a kid. When it was on TV, I knew who Tim Schafer was when I was a kid. So like, I watched it and I was just like, because it's the behind the scenes of the final week of development for Psychonauts. And the way Tim Schafer was saying to his employees, he's like, "Hey, we have to get this perfect. We have to get this perfect. This little thing right here, you have to fix that. You have to tweak it." And it was really interesting how developers do that. And I was actually watching David Jaffe last night, the other day, on Periscope, and he was watching. He was basically just streaming his meeting with developers and talking about how the matchmaking is going to work out, how the ranked games are going to work out, and it was all very interesting. Like, I thought it was very, because it just gives me a way of, this is how they think, like these developers. Well, that was back, Tim Schafer, all that Tim Schafer stuff, that was back then. That was in 2004. Today's developers, now I'll think about it. When Tim Schafer had that Psychonauts, there was no updates for games. So when a game came out, you couldn't update it. You were pretty much screwed if the game, if the game came out glitchy and buggy. Well, you're fresh out of luck. Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 5 game came out terribly buggy. And the game still is buggy. But if that game came out back then like that game would have never improved anything. Now, I'm not saying the game is improved like so much better, but they have fixed some of the issues and it's still buggy. But like I said, some of these developers today, they have it so much easier. There's not as much pressure on them as there was, say, 10 year well, I won't even say 10 years ago anymore. Hell, what the hell? 12 years ago, 15 years ago, like 2004, 2005 was like the last years of it. But there's so that honestly, if I was making a game and if I knew that I couldn't patch it later on, I would be stressed out. I would be overthinking things. I'd be like, oh my God, I have to get this perfect. I have to get it perfect. Today you can stress out about development and everything, but at the same time you'll be like, you know what, if we mess up, guys, we can rely on updates. And that's what I think a lot of the developers, a lot of the things suffer for, is some of these developers, some of these games come out half-ass, and they just come out, mediocre because they're not really, they're not they don't put their heart and soul into it. It's not a a a thinking matter where you're like, hey, I have to get this out. It has to be perfect. No, because you can rely on the updates. So like these developers are really pretty, and I'm not saying all developers do this. Obviously, Naughty Dog, Rockstar. There's still a good hand of developers that still bring out good quality stuff. Each time they bring out a game. But Capcom, Ubisoft, those are just two from the start, that just come on, but yeah, and I would even say From Software as well is a good one where you don't ever hear, bugs and glitches and things like that in a game or when the game comes out, so like it's it gave me like and I knew about this for a while, but after watching that documentary with Tim Schafer, you know, it really opened up my eyes even more. It's just like, man, these guys, man, these developers, they have it so much easier today because they don't have to stress out them much anymore. Because like they were all stressing out on the final day of the development. They were like, "Oh man, this is the final day. We have to get everything right. We can't screw this up." Now you kind of can screw things up. Like if you were like, like Capcom, they screwed up by not putting a damn arcade mode in their Street Fighter V. Now, now the mode still isn't in the game, but they're gonna put it in there eventually, and they're putting in modes like in June or May or April. Like the following month. Like come on, man. Like that's what I'm fed up with this in this industry is like, developers relying on updates and, just bullshit, this is just retarded stuff. And that's something that needs to go away. And hopefully it does go away. I don't ever see it going away. I feel that those days of perfection game designing is gone, It's only going to be a thing for the really, really good people. But you know what? It's kind of exposed these bad developers in a way because it shows them how badly and how poor they are, having to rely on updates. Like Naughty Dog and all these strong developers, they don't have to rely on updates because they put talent in there. Now I'm not counting but Naughty Dog comes out with a bunch of multiplayer updates. I'm not counting that. I'm counting the absolute, polish of single player wise. You can always update multiplayer games, but even if you don't update multiplayer games, it shows you, how good, and balanced it was, or how clean and polished it was. But honestly, what multiplayer game is polished and all the way balanced in today's standards? You know what I mean? So it's, multiplayer game wise, you're never going to get a developer that's not going to come out with a patch for it. And on the bright side, I kind of like that they bring out patches for some of these games as well. Not that I appreciate patches if it's necessary patches, if it's fun patches, if it has includes new stuff to the game. Then I'll be like, yeah, because it makes you want to play the game. It gives you a reason to go back to the game. Like I like those updates that give you reasons to go back to games. And of course that you could probably say that for every update, but those cool updates where you're like, oh wow, they're including this for free, or like a free content update, things like that. Like Need for Speed actually did that just recently. They're adding free stuff in each update, which is nice. You can't complain about that. But anyways, I'm actually going on 9 minutes here, and I better end this. So everybody check out the GamerCade website. I'll have that in the description. I don't have, it's kind of hard because I'm recording this through a PS4. I don't have the keyboard and link and everything on me, so I can't copy the link and put it in. So it's kind of hard to do it through a console. But this is the best I have right now. So But yeah, check all that out. The podcast is, popping, I guess. Yeah, it's popping and all that stuff. And check out the PlayStation podcast as well. I'm on that one. I'm on the Saturday show. I'm on the main podcast every now and then. Not every episode, but I do show up on there every once in a while. So everybody check that out and have a good one. Just subscribe to the channel as well on here and look up for more updates from Garth.